Good afternoon, BookTube. Just well, I'm not going to call it belated because I've missed the boat on it, but I did like the idea. So I saw Steve Donahue's belated Friday reads. I've seen other people's Friday reads, so Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading as well. That was another one. And I quite liked the sentiment that Steve put forward. Obviously, it's not just, these are the new things I read this week. It's just, this is where I'm still up to. So I am, oh, where am I? This is just a bookmark I've got, so it doesn't matter. There's another bookmark in there. But I just want to show the book, the postcard, effectively, or the gift card note I'm using. It's quite nice. I think I've just crested page 600 of my copy of The Lord of the Rings, so we're firmly in book 4 of The Two Towers, and I'm just so thoroughly enjoying it. I guess shared in a post the other day, no, on Goodreads actually, that I'm thinking I average about 30 pages a day at the moment. Seems to be the, maybe more, maybe less. So let's say on a slower day it's 30, but on a better day it could be, on a really good day it could be 50, maybe 50 to 60. I am a slow reader, but then also to riff off things I've heard Steve Donahue say before, I have personal hygiene to think about. I've got 2 small children that need feeding and washing and clothing and packed lunches making for school. Got a household to run, clothes to wash, clothes to dry, pots to wash, pots to dry, pots to put away, meals to cook, and a slew of all the other regular. What is it? Is it Wordsworth? The Summer of a Dormouse. After buttoning, unbuttoning, swilling, etc., etc., what's left? The Summer of a Dormouse. Yeah. So currently reading, and probably at least for. See, I started. I think when I checked on Goodreads as a reminder, because I use Goodreads effectively as a reading journal rather than an actual full-on social interaction thing or like social media platform. I do talk to people on there and stuff, but mainly just that. I think I started on the 28th, and now we're on the 17th, I think. So 20 days, 600 pages. Not bad. Not bad. I reckon probably another 2 weeks or thereabouts, and I'll have finished this full read through of Lord of the Rings, which would be nice. Just to have reread it again, and I'm just so thoroughly enjoying it. I'm really appreciating the, oh, I can't remember the name of the thing now. Bechdel, something like that, or whatever it is, test, or the screen test, or whatever it is, where apparently how many times do 2 women have a scene, or whatever it is, and I get it. I get it. It's like it's not a good look, but I also don't mind because like not an article or more of a review of the Lord of the Rings was saying how there's a great decline in the male friendship, and I think people kind of appreciate it, but also kind of sneer at it because it is a kind of servant master relationship, but between Sam and Frodo in particular, I'm thinking about. But it is also a truly just loving friendship. And similar with how the relationship blossoms between Legolas and Gimli, so that friendship crosses racial boundaries, what we could describe as racial boundaries, or species boundaries, because they're completely different living creatures from one another. And just the friendships that carry through, it's just that, I don't know, it's really comforting. Really comforting. So I'm really enjoying that. This is a very, very rambly video. I've just got stuff going on in life that's making me feel rambly, so that's all that is. But yeah, so I'm reading that at the moment. One of the bookmarks I use is actually this very nice, I thought it was a postcard to begin with. So I have got 2, and I think one is a postcard, but I've kept the one which is, so this was from a 1-year subscription service I had to Slightly Foxed. So it was a Christmas present, and I think it's like a quarterly magazine, but it's like quite a thick magazine. I think I've showed it before in a bookshelf tour. Obviously, there's no record of that now because I've got rid of all the videos. But so I might be inclined to do another one of those at some point. But they're just lovely people that I've dealt with them, and the content's really good, and I highly recommend it. But it's just a lovely quote from Hilary Mantel on the card, which is, "The business of reading should please the hand and eye, as well as the brain." And then it's and Slightly Foxed editions, books or quarterly, are elegant creations. Content follows form, offering new discoveries and old favourites to curios and discriminating readers, by Hilary Mantel. So it's more of a recommendation of Slightly Foxed. However, just the business of reading should please the hand and eye as well as the brain. I think that's true to some extent. It's probably why I still prefer physical books over the idea of an e-reader. So, yeah, I just like it. I just like it. I would recommend it. If you're interested in it, you should give it a check. But as part of the Friday Read thing, I have no super firm plans for what to read after Lord of the Rings, except I checked this a second ago, and it's already going to go from my head, so I don't remember the person name. I think it's called The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne, I believe is the person's name. I could be completely wrong on that. But that was a recommendation put to me by a friend who's also a colleague, and we have Waterstones as a bookshop here in the UK. I don't know what the equivalent would be if you're watching this in America. Borders? Do you have Borders? Or something like that? Or just like a main chain store of books. And if you make enough purchases, if you're a membership card, you can accrue the equivalent like a voucher. So I've got like a £10 voucher. So my friends had really good recommendations from the staff at Waterstones when they've gone in, and just kind of like left it up to the bookseller to steer them completely. So I said, well, let's see if the good fortune runs over. I've got a free £10 that I've just accrued. It's not going to cost me anything. Recommend me a book. And they went with The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne. I think it looks to be hefty-ish. 400 to 500 pages or something like that. And it's I believe it's an Irish novel. So that'd be interesting to delve into some Irish, what's the word? I was going to say, not popular fiction. What's the word? Current fiction, whatever the phrase is for it. Contemporary, sorry, that's the word. Contemporary fiction. I believe it's contemporary fiction. I could be talking nonsense there. It could be a very old book. I know nothing about it apart from that's the recommendation. But long story, cutting short, it was over £10. I clearly expressed the £10 limit. It was over that amount. So, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. But having that, I work at a university, and the university has a very good library. And the library service is wonderful to staff. For leisure reading, we can request anything, more or less. Within reason, obviously. But yeah, we can request it, and it'll just get added to put on the reserve shelf for you to collect, and it'll go into the general lending library section that we've got there on one of the floors, which is brilliant. So that's next. But then I also forgot, well, I just happened to be walking past the shelves and some other books I don't think I mentioned. So I got another contemporary fiction. When's is it March? Mystery Madness is the event, or whatever it's called. Whatever it is, either way, I've got, as a Christmas present, We Solve Murders by Richard Osman. So I don't know if there's I've never taken part in it, so I've never really paid it much attention whenever the phrase has been said. I'm sure it's something like March. Mystery Madness or something along those lines. But yeah, so I've never dabbled in it, but obviously I've got a crime mystery book. Don't know what it actually counts as. So maybe I'll try and squeeze that in. Thankfully, oh, that is a relieving font size. Wow, compared to whatever the Lord of the Rings edition I've got is, which is like 1100 pages of small font. That is joyous to see. Wow, that could be what is it? It says it's 400, over 400 pages, but let's be honest, if this was regular font, this would be a significantly smaller book. Oh, this is going to feel like a fast read. I might save that either for that March Mystery Madness thing and just dabble in a little bit of that as a taking part in the culture of BookTube. If not, I'll just read that as like a palate cleanser at some point. I also shared on the book chat we have at work, like an informal one. It's mainly so that the library staff can recommend what events they're putting on that week or month, or if it's in relation to a particular anniversary or something along those lines, they might do a themed stall. But on there, obviously, users can just add stories as well. So I had my some of my most enjoyable reads from last year, and one of them was Jacqueline Hartman's "I Who Have Never Known Men," which I know has kind of like made the rounds. I think was it either a video or did he say it on Goodreads? Aaron from Aaron Read a Book or Aaron Read a Book mentioned it kind of like came from nowhere, which I agree with because I saw it kind of happening as well. But I actually got around to reading it last year because we went on a all-inclusive holiday, and that was a book I got for my wife as a present. And it was, I think, we had a week of no cooking, no cleaning. It was just being by a poolside or going out and doing activities. But really, the downtime was actual downtime. And it was really hot, and there was free beer and wine on tap. So it was lovely. But she read that. She made me stop reading the book I was reading while we were on holiday. I had a few books with me that I was planning to get through, but I'd stopped the first one completely in my tracks. Which was, I was like, even with loads of free time, I'm still a very slow reader. So like taking 3 books was optimistic. But she basically read it, said it was so good that I should just stop. So I think I was reading Thinks by Keith Waterhouse, which I was really enjoying. But yeah, I had to stop that. No. I did take that with me. I was reading The Old Devils by Kingsley Amis. Yeah, and then she put that in my hand and I read it, and we both really thoroughly enjoyed it. And then off the back of that, I also got for her, but she's not read yet, Orlando by Jacqueline Hartman, which is obviously trying to sell itself very hard with this absolutely ginormous, oversized author of I Who Have Never Known Men. A little bit off-putting. That could have been 50% smaller and still been okay, but it's really like hammering it home. Does it say? So it's translated by Ross Schwartz, and this is a vintage classics edition. Just in case anybody's interested in that, it's very lovely. It's got a very smooth. The finish of it is very nice. I Who Never Know Men, the edition that we've got, had a very papery cover, which kind of like wore quite well, wore quite nicely. Because obviously we handled it in quick succession and we were poolside, so it got wet and this, that, and the other. And, you know, it's definitely been one of the books that you can tell has been on holiday with people. We've also then lent it to other people who've read it as well. So it's really gone through a lot of hands already. But I believe this is a retelling of Orlando by Virginia Woolf, I want to say. Confidently. I retract any doubt I had in my voice then. Confidently, Virginia Woolf's Orlando. And it says, brash, boisterous, sexually adventurous, this voice seems to be the antithesis of Aline, a prim literature professor for whom each day promises to be as quiet and conventional as the last. Oh, sorry. There's a voice in Aline's head, a voice that wants out. And then it says, that is until after 35 years of imprisonment, her alter ego breaks free. Taking on a life of his own, Orlando, Aline's second self, slips into the taut, rugged body of a young man. As Aline continues unaware, Orlando follows, dragging gleeful chaos in his wake, vowing to leave both their existences forever altered. So I don't think I know enough about Orlando itself as a story, but this was basically I was so impressed by the story of Jacqueline Hartman, and this was one of the other ones I could find at hand that was translated into English and seemed to be a relatively recent print. So this is, it says on there, oh yeah, sorry, this edition published by Vintage Classics in 2025. So it's published last year, so I think off the back of the whole random upsurge in the book, because I think I Have Never Known Men is an old book, actually. It doesn't say. Oh, it does. Oh, it does say. Oh no, it doesn't. It doesn't give a date. Sorry, two different bits. It just says on the intro, I Who Have Never Known Men was her first novel to be translated into English and was originally published with the title The Mistress of Silence. But then it says Hartman died in 2012. Sorry, I thought it said it was a run on Santa Say it was published in. But yeah, so that's something I actually do want to get around to reading. I don't know whether I should read, again, with confidence, Orlando by Virginia Woolf first to get kind of a lay of the land, or do I want to go into this? I don't know. It's like knowing whether you want to see a particular film version versus like a. What would be the example? Especially when you. Is it a reimagining or a remake or whatever it is? Do you want one version to taint the other? So yeah, I'll have to think about that. But yeah, so that's a new book I completely forgot to mention that I got for Christmas, I think. Another book that we acquired last year that I probably will read. Like I said, I've got this book recommendation to read, which still leaves me £10 free on this Waterstones gift card. So next time I do happen to go to Waterstones at some point, I'll have to try and find something for under that amount. But books seem to be getting a little bit more expensive new, so it's tricky to actually find something that is good enough and warrants my wanting it. Plus, the literal age of books I'm interested in obviously aren't in new bookshops or even independent bookshops, really. I like my tattered but almost well preserved mix of books that I kind of get from like the 50s and 60s and 70s. So yeah, so it's a bit tricky for that. So I might be able to find something, a recent reprint of something classic. I might try and get a classic actually, just outright get a Penguin classic, just to take another one off the list and put it with stuff. Or maybe I'll get a volume 2 of the Cazalet Chronicles or something like that if I can find it, because I was really enjoying that. And it was such a hefty, good story. Or I could get volume 2 of the Forsyte Saga. That's probably something that would be in a regular bookshop. Anyway, I've gone incredibly rambly, and this video has now turned significantly longer than I anticipated for what was just meant to be a belated, but not belated, Friday Reads. But it's not a Friday Reads, it's a Sunday Reads. Who knows? If I get into the habit of doing it, maybe I'll start a new trend and we'll all be doing Sunday Reads, because Sunday's the end of the week. I'm not sure why we do it on a Friday. Somebody got there first and everybody else just went along with it. Anyway, highly, highly, highly rambling video. Thank you for stopping by. Goodbye.